Yes, people. Yes, people. We are back in the building. The big free show. My guy Chino should be in here in a little bit. My guy CM is in the building as well. Big up to my guy in here, man. What you saying, bro?
Man, another great week of basketball. Another great week of drama at the same time, but we'll get into that, man. Big up to everyone in the chat.
Come
Back
on.
again.
Come on. You already know what it is. But yeah, man, people, when you get in here, make sure you slap a like, hit that subscribe button as well if you're new, and also hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. We got a whole lot of content coming up as well. And yeah, man, there's a lot to discuss in the NBA, just as CM said. I think there's only one place to start, and it's gonna be the Brooklyn Nets. There's been a whole lot of drama going on. Obviously, their start to the season hasn't been great. Let me just get their record real quick. They've lost 6 out of their first 8 games, and I've watched a few of them, to be fair, over the last week or so. I watched their first game against the Pacers on Saturday, which they lost. Then they ran it back on Monday night with a win, and then they lost to the Bulls as well in the midweek too. But you know, aside from their results, some big news: Steve Nash fired as their head coach, and they could be potentially taking on the suspended or currently suspended Celtics coach Ime Udoka as their head coach. Now, what do you guys think about that move by the Brooklyn Nets? Go and see. I want to hear.
No, but you, man. Now you gonna send me the link 2 minutes late, big man. Nah, burn this guy, people. This guy gonna send me the link. 2 minutes late, bro. And he knows I need to get situated because my Miami Heats are playing right now. Fire for this guy, man.
Yo. Hey, you might are losing to the Pacers right now still. But you know.
Big man, relax. Big up CM. Go ahead, CM. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Big up,
You know,
in here, man.
it was bound to happen still. It was bound to happen with Steve Nash. He's always been on the edge as a coach. Remember all of the drama that's gone on. I mean, it's been boiling over from last season when you think about James Harden wanting out, going to Philly, swapping with Ben Simmons, Kyrie's absence from last year, all of the vaccination stuff and everything to do with that. Kevin Durant then wanting out in the summer, asking for Steve Nash to be fired, and I believe he asked for Sean Marks to be even fired as well. So that was an interesting one. And you think about it and you say, well, Steve Nash has been sacked anyway. You might as well have done it in the summer. But I feel like it was a power move by the Brooklyn Nets to say, nah, we're trying to take back control. You've lost it completely. And the whole place is a shambles again. I remember when they had their good period all them years ago, when they had the group with D'Angelo Russell, Jarrett Allen, and Cole Caris LeVert.
Yep.
And everybody was praising them for almost recovering from that period when they took on the old Celtics core.
Yep.
And everything didn't go well and stuff like that. And you're saying the Brooklyn Nets have recovered. And it's almost like history is rewriting itself in a different way now, with everything falling apart, crashing and burning with this Kyrie and Kevin Durant era. James Harden coming and going faster than the Flash.
Yeah.
Steve Nash failing as a head coach. And it never really working out from the start when you got them guys saying we don't really need a coach. Well, he basically wasn't there anyway. So their words were proven to be failures anyway. But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation with Brooklyn, because when they first all came together, especially Kyrie and KD, looked at it and said, when Kevin Durant's fit, if he can get back to at least 80% of the player he was, which I think he did, they could do well on Kyrie's skill set. But there's so much that's happened off the floor that I feel like it's even tough to blame what's happened on the court, because whether it's the drama and everything that's gone on, it's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this will lift some weight off of the shoulders of Steve Nash, because he just needs to go. I don't know, maybe be an understudy for a little bit, learn the tricks of the trade a bit more, and gain some knowledge, and then you pick up. You know, when you go to a team and there's not a lot of expectations there. You can kind of learn on the job and improve with a young core or something like that. That's probably where he needs to go in a few years' time, but we'll see.
Yeah. Chino, what do you think about this whole situation at the Nets in regarding the managerial head coach kind of area before we start moving into the other bits of drama, innit? Chino, what's going on? Where are you at, Chino? He's gone, fam. Hey, he's on protest, bro. What's going on, fam?
Yo, Chino,
what's going on, bro? You're on protest. Hey, let me when he gets back in here, we'll hear his side. I mean, when you look at this situation with the Nets, like, I mean, I've been calling for Steve Nash to leave for a minute because I'm just thinking, like, with the team that he has, that offense that he had at the beginning of this kind of project, right? Well, actually, no. Prior to him actually becoming the head coach for the Nets, I was very surprised that he was the one that was earmarked to take the job in the first place because he had no prior experience. So that was always very funny to me when he came in and then he was the head coach. And then you've got this team around you of like three superstars here in the NBA and a few extra pieces here and there. You had Blake Griffin had his run in the team. Andre Drummond was in there for a minute, and then LaMarcus Aldridge for a minute too, and then you obviously had a few younger players in there too. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you've got yourself a pretty good squad of players here. Now, let's see what you can do with them. You should be going a bit later into the playoffs. You've got some players with championships under their belt and whatnot, MVPs under their belt and whatnot, but it just never clicked. And I think just as time moved on, people became disillusioned with the actual franchise, with the direction of the organization, the way it was going. And
I'm back.
Big up, Chino. And then James Harden leaves, as you say. Then this summer there's drama between the two other stars in their team. KD wanting out, Kyrie also wanting a longer term contract, which the Nets weren't actually willing to give. Due to some of the issues he's had at the team, because he's actually missed more games than he's played for the Nets. I think he's missed 128 games and played 118. So, that was the situation. And then, no trust in the actual coach himself. And we've mentioned before in terms of their defense, not being the best cohesive unit when they don't have the ball. And you saw it as it started to deteriorate. Like there was, I think, the game against the Pacers on Saturday where they lost. Like they lost by a pretty healthy margin. I don't remember what the score was in the end, but I feel like Miles Turner scored like at least 30. The rookie Mathurin, he scored 30 odd as well in the game, and you could just see that players just weren't interested in even playing under the coach. And it just got to a point where, I think that they said that they had enough. And obviously losing to the Bulls on Monday just wasn't great. And now looking at the Ime Udoka situation, it's like, it's looking kind of desperate. They're just scrambling for anyone. And I know he had a great first year as a head coach last season, but there's a bit of a shadow over his head because of the stuff that happened at the Celtics and the way it's being handled and all of that. And it's like, the ownership team, Sean Marks, Joe Tsai saying, you know what, we're going to take a risk here and bring in a coach who has proven to a certain extent to take a team that was, nosediving into a finals, but it's a big risk to take. And I was like, we were joking around on the stream with the Lakers earlier on this week. And I was like, Boston ain't really got nothing going on there. But when you take man to New York now, yeah, it's scary out there, bro, because there's all this type of temptation there. Yeah, you might be finished by the time you might be finished because it's different.
Allow it, man. Allow it. You just don't want to lose him. Listen, you have to also look at the fact that Ime and KD have a good relationship.
Yeah.
And the Nets and KD doesn't have a good relationship at the moment. Maybe they're trying to do this, bring in a guy that KD is familiar with.
Yep.
From Team USA. Ime was also an assistant coach on the Nets. So bringing a guy that is familiar with KD, a guy that KD likes, because there's not a lot of people that guy likes. Um, looking at it that from that standpoint is like, yeah, maybe he will settle down and reconsider his trade move, because all of this they're talking about, oh, KD is here, blah blah blah, no trading, we resolve it. I don't think so. I think they just say, listen, nothing is on the table right now that we like. Um, let's just see what we can get. But I don't think the trade talks for KD is all finished, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I think the made move, yeah, it's like you look on it as a point of desperation, but you can also look at it from that standpoint too, like with the point, like, listen, we need to fix this relationship with one of the game's best superstars.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the guy to come in and help us patch that relationship up. Oh my God, what kind of call is that? Come on. You
Yeah.
kidding me?
Chino's watching his Miami Heat right now.
Horrible.
There's a few games on right now, which is actually pretty nice. I mean, the Cavaliers are playing the Pistons right now. The Knicks are playing the Sixers. The Nets are actually playing the Wizards right now as well. Amidst all of this type of stuff going on. Let me get into some comments before we move on to the next topic, which is we're staying with the Brooklyn Nets anyway. And then saying Ime Udoka bust case just like he busts his way. Relax, my guy. You need to relax, bro. This guy is funny, bro. Like, he came into my to my Lakers stream. It was bare early in the morning, fam. He was like, bro, are you gonna start your? I was like, yeah, I'm starting my day, fam. You know what I'm saying? We don't sleep over here, fam. You just gotta start my day.
Mr. Tyrese Maxey is not good and blah blah.
Yeah, he needs to relax, bro. He don't know ball, fam. I'm telling you, fam. Big up Ed in here. I think Nash was as happy as the players with this situation. It's interesting. I mean, like, I just feel like at times he just kind of looked a little bit like a deer in the headlights when things weren't going his way. He didn't make any real adjustments to kind of help the team get into winning positions. I feel like the players kind of took over. There's obviously they got leadership there in KD and Kyrie at times to be able to do things to change games. And when we were expecting him to do things to change games and whatnot, or him and his coaching staff to change games, it just wouldn't happen. If you look at the way they got swept by the Celtics in the playoffs last season, like, there was ample opportunities for them to make adjustments and they just never did. And it just kind of just tells you what it was. But it is what it is. Ed with a controversial take. Kyrie needs to go. We're about to move over there right now. People, if you're in here, make sure you hit the Twitch for CM right here. I've pinned it to the top of the chat. So if you're in here, hit the link there. Go give him a follow on Twitch. He's got NBA streams, United streams, and some gaming streams as well. So make sure you hit the Twitch for CM.
Yeah, man. Follow CM and unsubscribe to. No, play now.
yo.
Nah.
You can't.
Go follow CM, man. And make sure you hit the like button over here, subscribe, leave a comment. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Yeah, but listen though, real quick though, on Steve Nash, because I had emergency with the baby.
Yeah.
Steve Nash, the guy is a cheat, man. He's an absolute cheat. What I say? You're an absolute disgrace. You're a cheat. He's a cheat, bro. He stole, bro. I will never forgive him for stealing D-Wade MVP, bro. D-Wade, best ever NBA season, bro. Steve Nash was averaging 13 points, bro. They gave this man the MVP over 30 points per game player, bro. Like, I would never forget that, bro. 08, 09, bro. Like, I'll never forget that. Steve Nash is a cheat, and he deserves what he get. He needs to go play football and juggle with the ball and watch like Arsenal, Man United, and these type of games, because basketball coaching is not for him. Let's just leave it at that. But yeah, it was a long time coming. The guy sucks.
Yeah, it was. I've been calling for it for a long time myself. I was just like, I was surprised he even got the job in the first place. I was surprised. I think a lot of the league were. But now we got to move on to a controversial topic over the last, let's say, week or so, maybe a little bit more than that. but it's definitely heated up over the last few days.
Trade him to the 305. I'm taking him. I don't care. I'm keeping politics out of sports. That ain't for me.
So Kyrie's anti-Semitism row. Basically, if you want a background to the story on
I don't, because I don't know what's going on, honestly.
Kyrie shared a clip to a film that was deemed to be anti-Semitic, and then refused to apologize only until today, I believe it came out on his social media. And now, as a result, because he failed to apologize for that particular time, he's been suspended for at least 5 games without pay. So he's going to potentially lose up to $1.2 million for not playing those 5 games. And we don't know how long it's going to go on for. What do you guys think about the whole situation and how it's played out? Because for me, it's difficult because, you know, I mean, because like even this is another thing that I noticed as well. So on Monday when they played the Pacers, there was a few guys on the floor seats at courtside who were wearing t-shirts. They were Jewish guys. They were wearing t-shirts and they were taunting him. And I saw a clip on social media where he was basically being like Kyrie was being sarcastic back to them, essentially, to try and hold his own, because like they literally bought the seats just to taunt him. There was nothing to do with actually with the game and stuff. But yeah, how do you think this situation has played out, and you know, just your thoughts on it? Really, that's what I want to know, to be honest.
I think it's a complicated situation.
CM, before you go on, Roland, I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. We do not care in the 305. Trade it to us. Go on, my brother. CM. You are the more respectful and the knowledgeable one, but on this reckless side, we don't care. I'm here to watch basketball. I'm not here to talk politics. I don't care.
No, we'll come to you when it comes to the basketball stuff, because obviously there's implications around, you know, what's going on. But let me hear what my brother CM's got to say on this.
This whole day, I've been doing a whole heap of noted research and all these things like that, trying to get my head around this situation. And obviously the link of the film that was referred from a book and stuff like that. So, you know, what you said was all facts in terms of it. The film is described as you know, it includes people or sites from certain sources that apparently have a disdain for Jews. That's how it's described and all of this stuff there. And it dismisses stuff like the Holocaust and all of these things there. So I believe that's why there was major uproar within the Jewish community and other people, because, you know, putting that link on your socials, automatically people are going to think, why are you promoting this kind of stuff when obviously it's on a public platform, which is what Kyrie said, but at the same time it's offensive to a certain demographic of people. So you can understand that. I've looked at all of the press conferences, how the press themselves have asked questions towards Kyrie, including the first press conference where he was kind of a bit more defensive. I feel like he kind of shot himself in the foot here in terms of that, because he was trying to be ultra defensive, but also defend himself in a way where he was saying, I, you know, support all walks of life, which may be true, of course. I don't doubt Kyrie on that, on his own words in the end of the day. But I don't know. I feel like just trying to kill off and dead off the situation from there probably could have been a better situation overall, because then we see everybody in the media come in and having their 2 pence. I saw Charles Barkley the other day saying the NBA dropped the ball on the situation, and you know how they talk about Kyrie and them things there. I mean, Joe Tsai came out and condemned Kyrie's comments. Adam Silver put out a statement about Kyrie's comments, which was crazy as well. I can even read it out here. He basically, because for backstory, Adam Silver is Jewish.
Yep.
So he came out and said Kyrie even made a reckless decision to post a link to a film containing deeply offensive anti-Semitic material. While we appreciate the fact that you agreed to work with the Brooklyn Nets and the Anti-Defamation League to combat anti-Semitism and other forms of discrimination, I'm disappointed that he has not offered an unqualified apology, more specifically denounced the vile and harmful content contained in the film he chose to publicize. I will be meeting with Kyrie in person in the next week to discuss this situation. And obviously, things have moved on further from there, leading to him being suspended for 5 games unpaid by the Brooklyn Nets themselves, not the NBA, the Brooklyn Nets. He put out an apology shortly after that, late Thursday, in US time and stuff like that. But the Brooklyn Nets, their statement was really strong in condemning Kyrie Irving and his behavior. And a lot of people are kind of thinking, would this be the road to Kyrie being out of the league, which is something that has been rumored for a long time. But I feel like it's such a sticky situation because when you look at Kyrie, there's so much dirt on his name just throughout the last few years in his NBA career. Whether it's the media, whether it's the fans online having an opinion of him conducting himself a certain way with what happened in COVID, this situation, and many more situations, of course. So that doesn't help, especially when you bring up a situation like this. And it was definitely avoidable. That's one thing I will say. One thing I also say is, and I've been saying this for a while, is the media. I'm not sure if they conducted it perfectly in the way they were kind of trying to push an apology out of him, because even if you did, would it have been genuine in that moment? I feel like you have to let those things happen naturally. And in a lot of the press conferences, the 2 press conferences that I saw, especially the first one, really trying to push that. And then when he came back after the Pacers game, I believe, he tried to do it again. So I feel like if you want to get an apology, you have to wait for it to naturally come, and then you make your decision based upon that. But
So just on that, right? So I read an article in ESPN today where they said that the Nets will try to allow Kyrie to make an apology himself. So they gave him time to educate himself first, and they wanted to keep it in-house. And so Joe Tsai was basically texting him every day to just make sure he was on track. They scheduled like meetings with the Jewish community group members and stuff like that, and he basically ignored going to these things. And so it got to a point where the NBA had to step in. And so obviously, as you said, with Adam Silver's cultural background, I think he felt offended himself. So he just jumped straight in there and said, look, you guys are taking too long to deal with this. So we're going to say you do this and then handle it in-house because you've given him enough time and he's not responding. So it was more so that Kyrie was just doubling down on, not, apologizing and, doing what he needs to do. That was just what I wanted to mention right there.
Yeah, but no, I agree with everything you say, bro. It was extremely avoidable, this whole situation. Whether you could have not posted the link, in the end of the day, that's down to Kyrie Irving. He's gonna make those decisions, and I'm pretty sure we'll see plenty more decisions that will get Kyrie in trouble in the future. I just think both sides could have handled the situation better. May and may not have handled the situation better, and that leads us to this point where he's suspended for 5 games and he'll eventually come back. How he's received after that, depending on if they're able to get Udoka over the line and the rest of the team also receiving him coming back into the lineup. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out, but it is an unfortunate situation. And yeah, we over here, we don't condone none of this stuff, obviously, anti-Semitism and prejudice and all of this stuff. But yeah, it's sad to see because you don't, even though, Kyrie's had his fair share of controversy, you don't see him being of that guy. You see him, obviously, he's quite a spiritual person and he's going through a certain journey where he's learning and seeing a lot of different things that include stuff that may or may not be true. So obviously you're intrigued to research certain stuff more and find your own opinion. And sometimes you can get yourself in trouble in this day and age. You do share certain things like that to the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like everything you said was correct, man. Like it's a very unfortunate and avoidable situation. I feel like it's everyone's fine to have their beliefs and whatnot. But when you are such a public figure, you have to be careful about what you're sharing out there because everybody will see it. And then at that point, things can be spun in different ways because he didn't actually say anything. He just shared something, some content that he felt was knowledge that he didn't know to the people that follow him. And it obviously with that, if you don't know what you're sharing is concrete, you don't know what it may offend or who it may offend, then it becomes a different situation, which is now what it spiraled into. But thank you for your, politically, structured take on this. I'm gonna go down to the reckless guy in Miami. Well, he's not in Miami, but you already know what I'm talking about. Chino, from a basketball perspective, right? What does this situation do for Kyrie? As I mentioned before, he's in the final year of his deal. He wanted a longer term deal at the Nets, but now at that point, his trade value was rocky at best. Now it's through is in the gutter right now. So what kind of options does that have for him and for the Nets in terms of getting some players to replace him?
I tell you what, it does is tank that value. So right now we can do a straight up Duncan Robinson for Kyrie Irving, and you know what I'm saying, keep it moving. But no, from a basketball, listen, I honestly don't know. Like CM breaking it down is the first time I'm actually like listening and like seeing knowing what's going on. Because at the end of the day, if you man don't know me, I don't really care about all that stuff. Like, I have my viewpoints, and yeah, let's just say my viewpoints are for me and my close allies in the Discord. So, but yeah, from a basketball standpoint, I put a tweet out this morning, and I know CM and Nick, Super Nick, seen it. Shout out to Super Nick because they liked it. And that's how I felt. That's how I feel. I could go deeper down on that tweet about it, explaining what I mean. But yeah, from a basketball standpoint, its value is very low right now. For even them, the Nets, they know because right now they're probably thinking, listen, we'll just accept this Russell Westbrook trade just to get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? Like just to not have him on our hand, we'll just take this trade. We don't care at the moment. Obviously they're not gonna just be like, yeah, just Westbrook. They're gonna be like, listen, just give us one of the first round picks. They're still gonna want to finesse the Lakers. They're not gonna get both.
Yeah.
But they're still gonna want one because they're just gonna want to get rid of him. But he helps a lot of team. He helps a lot of team, you know what I'm saying, if he's on the court playing.
Yeah.
But like CM was saying, like, you know what I'm saying, what he said, like, it can get him, like, I don't like the politics thing, but it can get him out the league, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things, like, it's one of those things where we can listen to people say slavery was a choice, but, you know what I'm saying, no one condemned them, but you know what they said the other day, and the world is out for them, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you just, like, like, that's the thing. So, from a basketball standpoint, a lot of teams will be calling for him if the Nets want to get rid of him. Because they could do it as service. Like, they could do it as service. So I don't think it will be hard for him to find a home. But what it will be hard for him to do is find a team to commit big money to him. Like, no one is gonna give him the like 4 years, 100 and this and 100 and that. Like, no one's gonna give him that type of money at the moment. They're gonna probably give him the 1 and 1, like 1 year 35, like 2 years 80 mil
with an extension.
Yeah, prove yourself.
Yeah.
see if you can play these games, Rob. So that's is and even before all of this, that was already coming for him. Oh, why are we losing to the face? That was already coming for him because the whole COVID, the whole injuries, him can't stay on the court and all that stuff. Oh my God! Like, can we just trade him for Kyle Lowry? Like, can I get this fat fuck off my team? Oh my God! Guys sucks.
You make me laugh, bro.
But yeah, but from a basketball standpoint, I mean, a lot of teams, cause like that's the problem right now. Like that's why the Lakers trade didn't go through. People think it was on the next side, but the Lakers was not willing to commit to an extension with Kyrie. Like before he opted in, the Lakers wasn't willing to tell him, yeah, opt out and we'll give you 4 years, this, that. Like a lot of team is not willing to do that because the guy have actually missed a lot of games. Too, because he was a Celtics, you know what I'm saying? He did miss a lot of game for you guys.
Yeah.
The game when KD foot was on the line, was that? That was the last year. Last year they got swept.
No, it was
the
year
before that. KD
Mhm.
foot was on the line. He was out. You know what I'm saying? If KD had him, maybe they would have been in the finals. Not maybe. They would have probably definitely been in the finals. The talent's there, man. The talent's there. Why do we play Dwayne Deadman, bro? He just let Miles Turner walk into a 3-pointer, bro. What are we doing?
Respect that.
The Pacers got shooters, they got shooters. Don't get it twisted, like they're gonna be a bit inconsistent this season because of the young, because they're pretty young, but they got some players, hey, it's not all plain sailing, boy. They rocked up to Brooklyn last week Saturday and they stuck it on them differently, boy. It was different. But we're gonna speak about Kyrie and his career path shortly, but let me get into some comments before we move on. Big up to everybody who's watching right now. Make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribe button as well if you're new. Hit the link at the top. CM's Twitch is right there. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitch as well. But and then saying that the words Tyrese Maxey isn't good has never come out of my mouth. We have the evidence. We got the tapes. So don't worry about it. We got the tapes, bro. So I've got it recorded, bro. If I clip it now and put it out there, bro, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you do it. Peak Udoka won't have Irving for 5 games. Yeah, 5 games, and it said at least 5 games. So we don't even know if it's gonna go on longer. If let's say his attitude returning to the team isn't the best, they may decide to extend it. Like if he doesn't feel like his heart is in it anymore, he may not play for the team again after this suspension. You just never know. And then saying that send him to Philly. You're funny, bro. You're a funny guy. He said, trust me, we don't care. Send him to Philly. Big up Super Nick in here. She says that even if the Nets win the season, Kyrie and KD step. You know what? At the start of the just before the start of the season, I was just like, when they decided to commit, I was like, okay, they're running it back. But it's just been turmoil since then. Like literally, it's been turmoil since then. And
another thing I want to say is, what owner go on social media like that? Like, probably that's why the guy didn't want to. It's a mess in that franchise. The situation, like you don't go in social media and do like call someone out like that plays for your team when you're freaking like Listen, don't let me go there, bro. Let's just say unfair. The thing that Ozil called when Ozil was at Arsenal that he called out and he got condemned for it. Let's just say the Nets owner
I got it right here.
Is backing that, like is putting money into like. Listen,
I took a screenshot from him. He like see Alibaba. That's the company he owns. He financially supported China's cultural genocide of the Uyghur Muslims in China. You know what I'm saying? They got a genocide of Muslims in China, and his company financially backed that. So it's like, there's a lot of hypocrisy. They're doing a lot of like PR stunts and things to try and save and kind of like wash away the image of what his background is like, putting people out there in front of the media and like just basically leaving them out there to dry and stuff. It's
Say money makes the world go round.
Boy.
The media.
And it can silence millions.
So I mean, yeah, it's not a nice thing that what we're seeing, like how he's now being put on display. Like, you know, there's been statements of put him in his place and, you know, make an example out of him and all of this type of stuff. And it's like, yeah, he's made a mistake. And as long as he's willing to learn from that mistake and then improve himself and grow as a person, he should be allowed to do that rather than being vilified by the numerous amounts of people within the media and even fans too. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like he's made a mistake in it, like we all do. We all human beings, we make mistakes. Of course, he's in a bit more of a privileged position because he plays basketball. He's famous. He's got more money than a lot of us, but he's making a mistake because he's a human being. So we shouldn't be vilified. It should be a situation where he just needs to go back, do some self-awareness, fix the problems that he has within himself, and make sure that he moves correct as he steps forward and moves forward. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it is what it is. Super Nick saying, don't do it, Chino, don't do it, fam. They'll cancel you, bro. They'll cancel you, fam.
Oh, I know. Because the things I want to say, bro. Listen, Marcus Garvey ain't raised no fool, bro.
Hey, trust me. You already know what we on, bro. We know the vibes, fam. Trust me, we know about this thing. Donkey said the world not level, old time granny. That's the saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's the saying. Big up Guarin in here. Big up yourself, man. Hey, he's been having fun. NBA's back. I know he's watching that Celtics game right now. What's the score in that Celtics game right now? We're down by 6. We'll try and see what we can do. Bro, I watched the game against the Cavs. Oh my days. JT with the dunk at the end to tie it up, and then we losing to a Donovan Mitchell winner. Heartbroken, fam. I can't lie, but the Cavs, I told, man, don't sleep on those Cavs. I told, man, don't sleep on them, you know.
They're beating up on the Pistons right now, 57-39.
I'm telling you. Guarin saying Kyrie reminds me of the saying, be open-minded, but not so open that your brain falls out. That's an interesting saying right there. Super Nick saying, if I start a channel, it will get cancelled because I can't stand the BS, false equivalencies, and lies. I mean, you have to find a different platform, like, because we have to own some platform if we want to talk the way we want to talk. Do you know what I mean? We can't be doing it on these kind of platforms here because otherwise they're gonna just shut you down. Where I was
definitely talking to Brush about that. Like, when I come on some money, that's one of the first things I want to do. Create my own platform where speech is actually free.
I mean,
freedom of speech.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is like you gotta get in there early though, Chino. But we'll discuss off camera. I'm telling you, I know the thing. I know what needs to be done in it. But we'll discuss offline. You know what I'm saying? Big up Walter. He says that's what you get, man. I mean, that's your opinion. You know, I know some people would have been offended. Maybe that's your community, so I can understand you feeling that way. But at the same time, he is just a man, a human being. He's made a mistake. But you know, it's one of those things right there. There's no evidence. This is a conspiracy. I don't know what you're referring to here, NN, but let us know if you can elaborate a little bit further. It'd be great.
Yeah, you see what NN said. Why didn't they press Amazon?
Yes. That was another thing. So hypocrisy. So Super Nick has a good point here. Hypocrisy, because look here, yeah. Jeff Bezos owns the platform that has allowed this particular, you know, very controversial film to be allowed to be streamed for us all to go on that platform and stream it right now. It's there. I don't believe it's been removed yet. As far as I know, I haven't heard anything about it being removed yet. So it's there available for you to watch. Why is nobody on his neck for, you know, doing X, Y, and Z? Why is nobody on his neck for some of the other things that he does too? You know, like, it's one of those things.
Still up there. It's still up there on Amazon now. Available to rent or buy.
This is hypocrisy. Yeah, it's right there for you to see. But hey, you know, is what it is. Big up Bobby in here. Big up Manj as well. Big up yourself for coming through. Super Nick saying this reminds me of Roots when Kunta Kinte got his toe cut off to dehumanize him and put him in his place. Some things never change. Hey, this is the thing. This is what I'm trying to say. It's like it's just nothing has really changed. It's just all it's in different forms right now. Do you know what I'm saying? But you know, we can elaborate this on different platforms and whatnot. Let's just talk quickly about Kyrie's kind of career trajectory. You know, obviously number one pick in the NBA in 2011, a champion with the Cavs, then leaves after the Celtics. Doesn't really work out there. And I remember watching a little interview between Jason Tatum and JJ Redick, where he spoke about his time at the Celtics and how everybody on the team knew he was the best player, but everybody's egos wouldn't allow him to lead the team. And so it just kind of, that relationship between all of them just kind of broke apart, and he had to leave at a certain point. And obviously he had injuries and whatnot. Moves over to the Nets. We're thinking to ourselves, and they've got a big three and they could potentially be title challengers, and it's not really worked out that way. A lot of controversy surrounding his career. Like, what does his current career, you know, say for himself? And then what does the future look like for Kyrie as a player in the NBA?
Kyrie's an NBA champion first and foremost, and that's a lot of things that a lot of players retired and present aren't. So that elevates you to a certain status already with the accolades he's got, obviously, over his career. Unfortunately, what's happening the stages after that, with first and foremost the on-court issues, starting with him wanting to leave the clubs, and then Boston happened, and then he goes to Brooklyn, has contributed to kind of the negative connotations of Kyrie Irving, everything that's come after Cleveland on the court. And now that's leading to him being judged off the court for the kind of stuff that he is doing, including what we just spoke about. So his probably last few years of the 2010s coming into the 2022 or 2020s, that's it. It's been an unfortunate situation for Kyrie, because I think the way he'll be remembered at this point is he's almost a complicated figure who has contributed, because I see this all the time in the media. People say you make Kyrie go into a team and the team implodes. But that is just the negative connotations that the media has created to put onto Kyrie Irving. That's the same kind of things that we see all the time with certain players who people say he's good enough to have a job, but he's out of the league. And if he continues to play and wants to continue to play, you could see that being the future for Kyrie Irving. He has all the talent, but does the team want to risk picking him up because of all the baggage that comes with it? And that's just the business and the politics that goes on in the NBA. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, politics is a part of sports in many, many different ways.
I have a question for you. Like I hear you, right? But it's so. Yeah. Don't you think they tried to do the same thing to Jimmy Butler, like when he was in Chicago, Minnesota, Philly, and now look what happened when he's in Miami. Don't you think they have something to do with your surrounding? Like we've been saying, the Nets organization is not run properly. So
I definitely think so.
Okay,
I definitely think so, bro, because you refer to Jimmy Butler. He was in Chicago. He was in Minnesota even more, where they tried to press that agenda and matter of him being a bad teammate. And it's funny because when they mentioned the thing of him taking the bench players and beating the starters in training, that almost backfired on them, because you're looking at them and saying, well, how bad of a team do you have to be for that to happen in training? How bad of an organization do you have to be for those kind of leaks to come out and for you to expose your starting lineup, your star players like that? So Jimmy Butler's a guy, he puts his head down and he continues to work. And that's why he's earned the respect back. Like the respect he deserved in the end of the day with what he's achieved in Miami since going there, buying into that and embodying the Miami culture. Will Kyrie be able to do that? That's another question. Because we know, like I said, the politics that goes on in the league and how certain guys that you would look at and say should be still here. They're not here for certain reasons.
I think so. Like I know more. Probably the front office won't take a chance, or maybe they will. But I think our franchise and the way we are run and the culture that we have in Miami, because a lot of people, a lot of idiots, like they make fun of culture, like when they say eat culture, oh that's all they have. Like they don't know it's a real thing. Like it's actually a real thing. Like with UD and what UD and Pat Riley installed, like all them years back.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's you
Mm.
you come in, you gotta grind every day, and it's about basketball. Even the media with the press passes, they know. Like if you ever notice our media, like cause every location have their own media personnel that go in. They don't ask Jimmy Butler about nothing off court, like unless it's like something like, oh, how is the coffee business like that? But everything has to be about basketball on court. Like even the scuffle with him and Spo, like after that game, after that it doesn't come up, like because like Pat Riley and them, man, like listen, we deal with basketball question, or you getting that press pass taken from you, bro.
Mm.
Like we not on the drama. We don't want to hear about none of the drama, nothing. Like our players are here to play basketball, talk basketball. And I think that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like every time Kyrie step on the podium in Brooklyn, it's not about basketball. Even in the Lakers, when you look with like LeBron and them, like they're asking Bron about Russ and like off-field stuff. Like it's not about basketball. When like if you really look at it, all the Miami press conferences, the players like, oh, bam, how's your chemistry with Tyler on the court? Like, how is this? How do you guys navigate through different pick and rolls? Like when it comes to Miami, it's all basketball. So that's one of the things with Jimmy, like he doesn't get all those controversial questions in press conference no more. Like, oh yeah, we hear you don't like Ben Simmons. Can you elaborate what's going on there? Like, what kind of question is that? Like, I'm a basketball player. Like, if that's out there, that's out there. Don't come in here asking me about that, asking me about the game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why AI was mad. Like you asking me about practice. Like ask man about the game. Like stop asking man about all these weird things. Like now they need to run the AI stuff, man. Like you asking me about off court stuff. Like ask me about the game.
Mm.
But yeah, to Kyrie, like I think like some even in Toronto, if you look, they don't really talk about off court stuff like with them guys because Toronto have a culture too.
Mm.
Even in San Antonio with Pop, it's basketball. Certain teams it's basketball, like eat, sleep, breathe basketball, and the media personnel they know like you're not asking basketball question, we're gonna revoke your press pass. Like we're not gonna
Mm.
allow you in here, or we're not gonna allow you to, what I'm saying, ask
Mhm.
question, which that's how it should be. Like, shouldn't have man getting bombarded about like man just practice about shoot around. Like ask man about the game coming up. You know what I'm saying? Asking him about all this and that, like how he feel off the court, like for what? I don't really care. Like them it's funny how them the same one, the media, right? Oh, keep this and that politics out of sports, keep it just sports. But you're the same fucking one in these press conference asking man about shit that's not sports. Like I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, that's what I gotta say.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's pretty interesting in terms of his career trajectory. I don't know what it's going to look like in the next like year or two, but I mean, hopefully he can do what Jimmy Butler did as an example and just knuckle down and just get on with the game and try and change his image somehow, because right now it's pretty stained in terms of the league standpoint. Anyway,
I'm telling you, bro, trade him for Kyle Lowry. We will take care of him.
Guarin saying he's made too many of the same mistake. He doesn't learn from them. He needs. I feel like he'll need another chance to be able to redeem himself. I think from this one, because maybe this one may be the one that actually helps him realize how to move moving forward. Kyrie has crossed the wrong people more than once, so they'll always find something else to ensure the narrative around him remains. And this is where like it can become a bit of a media circus, just like Chino has said. Like basically, they're just gonna keep antagonizing him in different ways. They'll start looking into things that may have happened in his past and bring them to the light and all of this type of stuff. But at the same time, we've seen a lot of positive stuff that he's done as well, but that never comes out to like we don't see a lot of like blasting of stuff. I remember him. He gave some I think it was a village had some running clean water or something like that. I think in Asia somewhere, donating to community projects and things like that. That doesn't really get the kind of shining light. I think he gave like some vegan burgers or something to the homeless or something like a few years back, but that doesn't get like a lot of press light and stuff like that. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like why because I think as a society we just kind of fuel ourselves on drama. Everyone's so interested. Yeah, everyone's just on this negativity and the drama that's going on behind people, celebrities, this and that, when there's a lot of positive that's out there, but it never gets any light. And so that's also another thing. And it's just like, this is why, it's important that if you have platforms, if you have a voice, if you're going to speak, you have to try and put out as much positivity as possible, so that we can change narratives, especially when it comes to people that look like us. Do you know what I mean? So, it's one of those things right there. He'll either put up, shut up, and likely take disrespect, or be in a protected environment where he can just play without prejudice. Yeah, that's also another thing. But then it's like where, because right now he's got the mark on his name in the league, let's say across the board. But then, it's one of those ones where, we don't know if because I don't think he's going to leave the country. I don't think he's going to leave the US and go play basketball somewhere else. I can't see it. So it's one of those. But then at the same time, like Chino said, that people would still take a risk, but they won't commit as much as what they probably would have maybe 3 years ago, for example. So, it's one of those ones there. Hollywood journalists looking for sensationalist headlines to suit their agenda, which is also very true. Kanye only got heat from talking about the Jews. I don't know what that's got to do with anything. Kanye is just a bit of a different character, bro. I don't know what to say about that one there, fam. Waterhouse George's family, unlike BLM. See this one there, yeah. Like I've got my opinion on that, but that one, yeah, like Chino said, I'm leaving that in Discord. I'll speak about it on Discord. I can't speak on it here, fam, because they'll say it's hate speech, bro. Let me move on, bro. Yeah, this is another controversial topic that we got to move on to now. Josh Primo's drama. So Josh Primo was drafted into the NBA last year. He was the youngest player to be drafted in of last year's draft. So he was waived. He was waived last week. So we were doing the show last week and we saw the tweets come out saying he was waived. There was no explanation as to why. We thought it was just, they're clearing space. They're going to tank. When Wembanyama is coming into the league next year, they want to be in a good position to make sure they can accommodate him. And then it gets revealed that he allegedly, exposed himself to a former psychiatrist, because she's no longer working for the Spurs organization. She was working for the Spurs organization. She's a psychiatrist there. He exposed himself to her, and then that was found out. She, I believe, I don't know if she was fired or she left the organization, and then after that, he's subsequently waived from the organization. And then it's come out that, the former psychiatrist is now going to sue Josh Primo. And Josh Primo's also got a lawyer making statements saying that how, she's been targeting him and is lying on his name. And, they're going to counter sue. And he's trying to take some time off for his mental health, or the accusations have, damaged his mental health. It's all a mess. What do you guys think about this particular situation?
Man likes Willie Primo. I bet you, the first coach gonna sign him is Ime. He gonna say, "Welcome to the club, son." No, put fun and joke aside. Honestly, I seen the statement and they're saying, his side is saying it's a wardrobe malfunction. He was. Them shorts now. They got some shorts. Sometimes if you sit down in them nuts will drop out to the bottom, bro.
I was reading something about this. Apparently, it wasn't just one time that it happened. It was
Oh,
multiple times, how many times can you have a wardrobe malfunction? Allegedly.
see in that point, I don't know them, man. Like, listen, yeah, you can elaborate on it, CM. I don't really know what's
So
going on.
I was looking at this, and obviously there's the former psychologist, and I think it was a story. Was it the Daily Mail, something like that, or the Mirror, one of them, where it said he exposed herself multiple times in private sessions, which is interesting, and she's now going on a lawsuit against the San Antonio Spurs organization because, well, she had complaints of being ignored.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to laugh. And then you know, crackhead. You know what?
No.
What he said?
I'm sorry. Oh my days! That is so funny, I'm done.
He ain't lying though. Funny. He ain't lying though.
Nah, that's funny, boy. Nah, I'm sorry. See, I forgot you up, bro. That is so funny. Wow. Oh my days, nah. Oh, bro.
Oh, nah. Big up in it, man. Nah. Oh man.
That is too funny, man.
But yeah, back to the story, fam. She's sued the organization. She's accused them of ignoring her claims about the Josh Primo thing and stuff like that. And what's interesting as well is there's actually allegedly other women who have accused Primo of the same act.
Oh, really?
So yes. So the story's got worse and worse the more I've researched about it, because you got the multiple times thing. So that kind of takes away and makes the agent or the attorney's comments invalid instantly. And then if you mix in allegedly being other females that have been victims of such acts, then that could make the case even more sticky for Josh Primo. But yeah, I mean, the wardrobe malfunction thing is damage limitation. And it sounds really bad for somebody second year in the league. You come in with so much promise. San Antonio were looking at him to be, probably one of their next stars going forward in the future, which is why him being waived was such a shock with no explanation. It was just sudden. Everything was so sudden. And that's why we thought what we did last Friday. But yeah, the whole story, the way it's being unpacked and the more news that's coming out day after day, it's not looking good. And I'm sure there will be legal action being taken, court cases and stuff like that, to see what the truth is and what the lies are. But yeah, it's important that what Super Nick is saying, everything is alleged. We don't know what's truth and what's not truth, because especially in a court case, both sides could be telling lies. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have to see what happens over time. What happens with the player, what happens with the psychologist, what happens with the organization, because they are heavily involved in this lawsuit now. And we will see.
Yeah, because I mean, and then there's made a good point here. He's gotten the same lawyer as Deshaun Watson, the NFL player, who's had a few sexual assault cases allegedly thrown over his head. And I think they were found to be false or something like that. So I don't know what that's going. I don't know what that means.
Nah. Deshaun Watson is a predator, bro.
Is it? I see.
Man,
I don't know.
He settled his court case.
He settled.
Man was getting massages, turning around, busting in the air, and all type of. Nah, bun him. him, bro. Bun him, bro.
Whoa!
Bun him.
Whoa. Pause right there, fam. What we talking about here? What is going on?
Halliburton is cooking us right
What
now,
is
bro.
going on? Look, you see how you made CM malfunction right now, bro. What's going
Tyrese Halliburton is cooking us right now. Oh yeah, no.
Yo. Big up vibes in here, man. Saying like, overtime. We're gonna talk about the Lakers and their big overtime win over the
Vibes, the
Pelicans,
mechanic about to check in the game right now, bro.
the
Turn it on.
Pelicans too. But yes, big up to yourself vibes as well. Thank you for coming through, my bro. As always. Guarin saying the Celtics ahead. Hey, I'm not. And then you need to relax, bro. You need to relax. Hey, we're moving on. Another controversial topic, bro. Another controversial topic. So Miles Bridges, allegedly over the summer, there was a domestic violence allegation, and we over here at Pros Only Sports, we take that situation very seriously over here. You do not put your hands on women at all. There are queens. You never do them kind of things there. But he's pleaded a no contest. He's receiving no jail time and 3 years probation. At the time when the situation broke, it was like, he's done out here. He's going to prison. The mother of his children shared pictures. And
I really don't like fucking Kyle Lowry, bro.
Whoa.
Oh, I thought I was muted. My bad.
Wow. Chino's watching the game right now, and I'm sure they're losing. I'm sure they're losing right now.
I'm sorry, people. I thought I was muted.
They're losing right now by 10.
They're down
by 10, but he's not happy. But she shared pictures on social media, snippets of some of the situation. But it's kind of not, it's kind of ended up, in this situation where he's basically got off scot-free. Now, we're gonna touch on this very a short while. We're not gonna talk about it too much because I don't know what this may mean for him.
Oh wow.
But apparently,
breaking news. Nike announced the company is suspending its relationship with Kyrie, effective immediately, and will no longer launch its new Kyrie 8.
Wow.
Yeah, listen.
Big. I've just seen
myself, let's go on. We'll talk about it in Discord, but yeah.
All right, so so what do you think about this whole Miles Bridges situation? Because I remember in the offseason, I saw him training with NBA players. Like, it was pictures of him with Trae Young and stuff like that. So he was still training. And I think he was out on bail and stuff. So he was able to do what he wanted to do. What do you guys think of the situation?
We need to protect women more, but also our sisters need to protect themselves. But we need to get them help because he's not in prison serving time, and our brothers need to educate themselves and.
Chino, you dead?
Blacked out still. I'll just go from there. I mean, I agree with what Chino started off with. In the end of the day, I feel like within the black community, there's a lack of education, not just when it comes to in certain areas. I will say, because there are a lot of black people.
I was talking to myself. Go ahead, CM. I'll go after you finish.
There's a lot of black people and who grow up respecting the women in their life. Me personally speaking, growing up in a 2-women household, being grown up by my mum and my grandma, in the end of the day, I have a certain respect and a high level of respect for the women in my life because they made me the person that I am today. But there's a lot of people who don't have that education, and and I feel like also it's a bit of emotional control at the same time. I feel like once again, especially in the black community, speaking from experience, when it comes to education and learning how to control your emotions and channel the emotions that you have in a certain way, there's not a lot of help and education when it comes to that. And that leads to situations when you have angry kids, angry teens, angry adults growing up to doing things that, quite frankly, they shouldn't be doing. And once again, we don't condone that and
Mm.
shouldn't accept that in any um any level of society. So what he done was straight up wrong. But yeah, there has to be education, and what we're seeing from it is, because I saw he's doing 52 weeks of parenting classes, 52 weeks of domestic violence counseling, 100 hours of community service. Hopefully he can go into that with an open mind
Mm.
and wants to be educated, most importantly, because there are people who don't take these things seriously and
Mm.
come out the same or even a worse version of themselves.
Mm.
He needs to, and I hope as soon as the moment really came into the public eye, I hope he opened his eyes a lot more and realized what he did was wrong and the mistakes that he made, because this incident alone cost him, possibly could have cost him his career, cost
Mm.
him a lot of money
Mm.
and his reputation that he'll never ever be able to salvage for a
Mm.
very long time at least.
Mm.
So there's gonna have to be a lot of education, and it is once again a lesson to a lot of the kids growing up,
Mm.
because there are a lot of kids who watch the league and stuff like that. The education to a lot of the parents, the modern day parents and the parents to be,
Yeah,
Mm.
we
who
back in this. Down 3. Yeah. Go ahead, CM.
yeah, man. There's a lot of education to make sure that you allow your kids to be in an environment where it's okay to share their emotions. It's okay to learn about their emotions and learn about themselves at an early age, and how to and how not to react to certain things. Because if you don't, then you get all of this pent up anger inside,
Mm.
leading to incidents that should not be happening.
Mm. Yeah, like it's just it's a crazy situation because like the thing that annoys me the most is that like he's not going to serve any jail time over this because he should do,
Mm.
because the evidence
Yeah.
is there essentially. Do you know what I mean? It's like I know he may have potentially reconciled with the mother of his children, and she may have felt, some kind of way of not putting him in that kind of situation where basically he loses his career.
But he
But it's still like he should be serving time because like the evidence
yeah.
is there, like the children were there. They even, I'm not sure they testified, but like they said, like I heard snippets like audio of the kids telling,
Uncle.
yeah, saying this, like saying that this is what happened to my mom, type of thing. So
Mhm.
how he's been able to get away with this essentially with
Mm.
everything pretty much intact. I know is he a restricted free agent or is he a free agent?
Restricted.
He's restricted.
What
Hey.
what he was, I thought they. I don't know if they did whatever it's called. I don't know if they had give up his rights, but he might still be. He might still be.
Because I think that the consensus around the league now is that wherever he does go, they have they're gonna put clauses in his contract which gives them the right to terminate at any point if anything goes left, literally. So
Yeah.
so he's basically gonna be under a very very tight watch. Uh,
Le- on his probation, he can't smoke, so that's good. Keep him off that leaning
and the lean and all that stuff, yeah,
and
like,
yeah, weed, because you could tell he be on the lean and weed.
yeah, because this is
But
what
yeah, man.
and then this is what NM was saying. He said that Miles really let the bad man music he was getting to doing that, getting to his noggin. Man really tried to fumble the bag. Like, yeah, we saw
Mhm.
pictures of him with the weed and the lean and all that stuff on his off season. It's like you're supposed to be training. What are you doing, bro?
Yeah, no, I like everything CM was saying
Mm.
before I rudely interrupt with my score line. But yeah, yeah, man, you should never put your hands on a woman, especially any woman at all, but especially the one that birthed you, the ones that raised you, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And the one that, you know, give birth to your child, like you should never lay your hands on them. And for him to do that in the manner he did it, you can tell it was like he beat her like how they beat Rodney King, because you saw the pictures, like she was bruised up, like, and it's crazy because he's hench, he's
He's
not a
big. He's not a small guy.
yeah,
Like
he's a
six
big
five. Like
he big bone.
he's
Not
6'5".
even like
Yeah,
height,
he's
he
big.
big bone.
Yeah,
So
crazy.
like, you know what I'm saying?
She's not. She's not the big. She's pretty small. She's not. She's
Yeah.
tiny, right?
Yeah,
Like
she's tiny and he's big, like he's so it's just, but like I said, any woman at all, you know what I'm saying, but especially the mother of your child, like yeah, he should be in prison right now.
he
I
should be.
think he should be.
He should be.
It's I'm happy for her to find, the place in her heart to forgive him, where she don't want to see her father's her kid, her son's child in
Mm.
prison, because it's a lot of black men who just throw our life away, end up in prison, and maybe she don't want to see that for him. Um, why we keep letting Tyrese Halliburton shoot from Steph Curry range? Like, he's just hitting these. Like, I cannot do this. I can't. No, I can't.
That's what he just plays his team, bruv. They're
I
in there. They're mad
can't.
inconsistent, yeah. But trust me, they got shooters on their team, boy.
Bro, Tyrese, and then Benedict. Oh, he
Benedict,
missed.
yeah. See that guy? He's different. I can't lie. Him and
Yeah, man say he's better than LeBron.
that's what he
Oh yeah,
said. Hey,
he
but
just
he's playing well though. Like
he
the
just
last
straight
seven
bomb.
games, he's been pretty good. I can't lie. He's playing really pretty well.
But yeah, man. So yeah, I, I'm happy for her to, obviously she's gonna be scarred. The kids are definitely gonna be scarred.
Yeah.
Um, but for her to forgive him, it show how much of a bigger person she is.
Mm.
Or maybe she's just thinking about the bag. She wanting to collect the bag for their kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see if he's gonna learn his lesson, you know what I'm saying? Because if he mess up, he's definitely going to prison with those probation. Yeah.
Probation. Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I will say about that is, you see, regarding the music that he does, yeah, when you're in a situation and a privileged situation that you're in, having been one of the few people out of hundreds and thousands wanting to go to the league, actually in there and in a situation where you could actually get paid, you have high potential, you could become one of the top players in the league. You've got to leave that life behind, bro, because once you get sucked back into it, that's when your life goes to ruins. We've seen it with so many other people who have gone into a certain lifestyle either during or after they've been in the league, and it's never been the same for them, because once you go back in, you can never get away from it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And
Breaking news. Breaking news.
go on.
KD dropped someone. He did the split, bro.
Yeah, yeah. CM sent the video from it. Was too funny. And then saying, "Wow, they doing him like Kanye." In reference to
Kyrie.
and then they said they weren't going to renew his contract anyway, according to Woj, back in May. So that's with Miles Bridges. And then CM giving us a bit of news here saying that we are aware of today's developments regarding Miles Bridges' legal situation. We will continue to gather information before determining any potential next steps. Until then, we will have no additional comments from the Hornets PR. Now, let's move on to some of the games that happened across the week, some of the teams that have been doing pretty well. So we'll move on with the Cavs. They are on the charge right now, 6-1 for the season. Donovan Mitchell has settled into Cleveland very well. Darius Garland returned against the Celtics and put up a really good performance. I believe it was, 12 assists, 31 points or something like that in the game against the Celtics. And we were speaking about the chemistry between the two, they both picking up the same positions. But, he played really well on his return back. Now, what do you guys think of this start to the season for the Cavs?
Man, I'm really excited with this team. Every time that I've been it, because I haven't really fully watched the game with Cleveland as of yet in this season. Every time I've caught their highlights, I'm always on Basketball Reference looking at these extra extra stats, advanced stats, and all these things they're trying to make sure I'm always in the know. But yeah, I've really been excited by Cleveland's start. Donovan Mitchell, like you said, fitting in like a glove. Darius Garland coming back. We know what he's able to do in terms of his improved playmaking, his improved ability to score the basketball and just take care of a whole offense. You got two guys in two guards who are capable of carrying an offense within themselves, and it's just brilliant what they've got there. And then you got guys like Jarrett Allen, even Mobley, the way he's developed his offensive game. Like me personally, I didn't watch it much last year, but I've seen certain things from this year and the moves that he has on the offensive, and he's very versatile for a big. I've been really impressed with what he's been able to do on both ends of the floor with Jarrett Allen, of course. Caris LeVert, also very impressed with what he's done in Cleveland. Of course, he can be a bit off and on when it comes to his scoring, but when he is on, he's like a blowtorch. He can heat up with the best of them. And then they got guys like Dean Wade on the bench contributing, Kevin Love still being a key contributor off the bench and being that great veteran and being somebody to look up to for those young guys to learn from. Cedi Osman, of course. He was there all the time back, I believe, from when LeBron was still in Cleveland. So you can imagine how many years he's been and how many great players he's been able to learn from and improve over the years. Isaac Okoro, he's playing here and there. But their team is really good to look at. They've got key contributors everywhere they go, especially on the bench. They're shooting the ball. They can shoot the ball. They can defend with the best of them. And like I said, they've got two guards who can take care of an offense within themselves. When you got two guys that can do that, you're going to play high-level basketball. It's just about if they can put everything together now in mentally and physically so they can go and try and make a run for the playoffs and see what they can do there. Because once you get to the playoffs, then you can start getting that true experience of how it feels to be in that moment. Some of those guys got a taste of it when in the play-in and stuff like that. And the way they went out was very unfortunate because even watching that game, I got emotionally attached to that Cleveland team at home in that game. Was it against Atlanta?
Yeah, Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta. I got emotionally attached at that time to the team, just with the way they played, the way the fans received the team and everything. And I remember Jarrett Allen was coming back from injury that game, and the way the ovation that they had for him, the effort that he played on both ends of the floor, still being banged up. You can see that this is a group of guys who care. This is a group of guys who want to improve together, want to play together. Most importantly, want to buy in to playing hard on both ends of the floor, which is just so good to have in a young core.
Yeah, and then when you mentioned that, right? So the one person that we are looking at in particular on the defensive end is Donovan Mitchell. So we've seen in the first 7 games he's been committed to being on the defensive side of things for his teammates. But can he now carry that across the course of a season? This is what we want to see, because obviously I saw glimpses of that when he was at the Jazz, and then he kind of just fell away and just wanted to do more things on the offensive side. So let's see if he's going to be able to buy in for the whole season on the defensive end for the rest of his teammates at the Cavs, and then we'll see if that's going to really develop into something really good for them this season. But it's a great start, as you mentioned before, and Evan Mobley
2-0 against the Celtics. 2-0 against the Celtics.
It's 2-0
against the Celtics. 2-0.
I mean, that game was a bit, crazy. I don't know how many lead changes there were. I think maybe 7 or 8 in the game total. Kevin Love was still shooting at his age off the bench. It's just they've got a nice blend of youth and experience there that's really gonna help them across the course of the season. They just need to be all staying healthy across the season. That's really what needs to happen. But yeah, 2-0 against the Celtics. I mean, it was an exciting game. The Cavs were leading and they were about to take the game home, and then JT on literally the last play of regulation time he just gets a dunk. He launches himself from the free throw line and dunks the ball into the net, and then we lose in the end.
Doesn't matter. 2-0 against the Celtics.
It's all right, man. It's okay.
Doesn't matter.
It's okay.
Doesn't matter.
I think if we get to that crunch time in the playoffs and we have to play them again, it's a different story. That's all I'm saying. We need a big, though. We need a big. We're struggling right now because Al Horford, He's not. We need to save his legs, man. We need to save his legs on one side, and then obviously Time Lord, man like Rob Williams the third, he's injured till January, so we need to find something. We need a proper big, not Noah Vonley's all right, but he's not the quality that you need in that position across the course of a season. He can come off the bench and do what he needs to do, but he's not going to be of that kind of quality. Now let's move on to Milwaukee Bucks. Chino, they're unbeaten for the start of the season. They have not lost a game
without Chris Middleton, bro.
Without Chris Middleton. What do you think about their start this season, bro?
Don't care. Heat in 6.
Wow. Man said Heat in 6. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Listen, Milwaukee's gonna, bro. They got Giannis.
Giannis.
The Bucks are so boring. I'm yawning. Yeah. No, the Bucks, they're scary, man. It's the Bucks, isn't it? I don't know. I haven't watched them. I don't really like Milwaukee, so I don't watch them till we play them. But I see the what's the name though. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you why they're playing so good. But like the Cavs, I've watched the Cavs, but like the Bucks, I haven't seen them. So I don't know why. I don't know if any of you men have seen them and you could elaborate why they're playing so good. But all I can say is they have Giannis. Giannis numbers look good. Like, it's what it is. There's just, I mean, obviously the usage is gonna go down when Middleton come back. You know what I'm saying? The rock is gonna be shared and all that, but like stuff like that. Usually when a star player is out, people think, oh yeah, this team's gonna crumble and blah blah blah. They tend to pick up more wins. You know what I'm saying? Because defense can just zoned in on the star player. Now that, like, not saying Middleton is of that team, Giannis is, but there's no way to guard Giannis. But like when the ball is in Middleton and when he's there, you can guard that. You can shut that down to some extent. You could get stops off that. So team tend to win game. But you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be different when he get back the offense, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, congratulations to them. Don't care. Heat in 5.
You make me laugh, bro. So yeah, what do you think of the start of the Milwaukee Bucks season so far?
No, it's more what we always see from them, to be honest, when you think about their offense, but also the intensity on the defensive end, being able to always commit to that end and protect the paint, pack that paint. I mean, with Giannis, guys like Giannis, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis coming off the bench. And then you got good perimeter defenders in Drew Holiday. Grayson Allen's a competitor. You know, he kind of goes over the edge sometimes, but he's a competitor nonetheless. You've got a lot of guys, George Hill coming off the bench, a really good veteran, defensive guy from there. So you've got a team that always wants to be competitive, and what you've seen from them is motivated almost to have a great season. And I think there is motivation from them coming off the disappointments of the injuries of the last playoff run and stuff like that, probably wanting and hoping to do better. So they've probably come into this season saying, you know what, we're going to play as hard as we can to start the season and throughout the season, and we're going to get the best possible position early on. So maybe towards the end of the playoffs, we can focus on staying fit. I mean, Giannis has always been a guy in the regular season, especially a lot of the Bucks stars who don't really play a lot of minutes in games. When you think about guys that play a high amount of minutes, almost a full game, you know, Giannis can put up a 30-point triple-double or double-double in less than 30 minutes. That's how efficient he is. Drew Holiday against Detroit, he had a good shooting performance, which Milwaukee will be glad to see, because up until that point, he had been shooting very poorly from three and from the field as a whole. His defense has always been there, but his shooting, he has struggled with that to start the season. I think that will help when Chris Middleton comes in, and the spacing will be even more for Drew Holiday to get more three-pointers, open three-pointers and mid-range J's and layups, of course. And then you've got, obviously, the floor opening up for the shooters like Grayson Allen. You have Javon Carter, Jordan Nwora, who's become a big part of their offense this season, which I'm glad to see, because I saw a lot of promise from him last year as well. in terms of him trying to break into that rotation. Bobby Portis, we always know what we're going to get from him. He will have some off games, but he's always going to compete. And he's a fan favorite there in Milwaukee. George Hill coming off the bench as well, good contributor. And then you got other guys who could come in and out of the rotation of a night, like Serge Ibaka.
Yeah.
Thanasis, he doesn't play a lot, but he's always the heart and soul on the bench.
Yeah.
Wesley Matthews, who's a very good shooter when he is on song and stuff like that. So with Milwaukee, they're gonna be a great team this year, and they're gonna be a contender to come out the East. And yeah, that's that.
Yeah, man, that's perfectly summed up. I mean, I feel like they look. Yeah, you're right. It looks like they're trying to get a good head of steam so that they can just kind of like just get into the playoffs, everybody healthy, just to try and take it a bit easy as they get towards the end of the season. They don't want too many other players getting banged up too early, and then you're scrambling for the players when it gets to the playoff time. Yeah, and they're a very difficult team, man. I mean, obviously, I saw them last season. Obviously, against the Celtics, we took them to 7 games, but it was tough. And that was even without Chris Middleton in their starting 5. So, yeah, and you've mentioned a lot of their players, their role players that contribute a lot off the bench. So, like, they've got a very good squad. It runs pretty deep as well. They're gonna be difficult to stop, and obviously with them going 7-0 already, like it's already looking like it's gonna be tough to catch them. And all of that. So, it is what it is on that side. Now, let's move on to the Lakers. They won 2 games in a row. I watched the game against the Pelicans on Wednesday. Oh, was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday to Thursday for us over here. Russell Westbrook kind of getting back to, this type of stuff that we were seeing, but albeit from a position off the bench. Now, I've seen some quotes from their head coach, Darvin Ham, talking about how he wants to turn Russ into the 6th man of the year for this season. Now, what do you guys think about, the Lakers obviously winning their 2nd game in a row? A very tough, they ground out that win against the Pelicans, who just wouldn't go away. Matt Ryan with the last minute shot in regulation time. From the corner to just take it into overtime, especially as LeBron kind of missed a couple of, I think he missed a couple of free throws, and then he also missed a fadeaway jumper, that basically condemned them to that position of overtime. What do you guys think of the Lakers the last 2 wins?
This is what LeBron career come to, man. The Uber driver is saving his career, bro. Only Matt Ryan I know is some quarterback that plays in the NFL.
That is too funny.
Sad to see, man. The GOAT going outside should have never left the 305.
Oh man, but yo, CM, Russell Westbrook, man, is your favorite player. How you assess, his performance in the game against the Pels?
I've liked what I've seen from him. The game has been simplified with him coming off the bench. And as complicated as it may have looked from the outside, and as simple as this may sound, putting him in an area where he is the only, you say, even though he's going to be on the court at some points of the game with your LeBrons and ADs, allowing him to kind of come off the bench and know that he is the only alpha that's coming off the bench. I feel like that's giving him a lot of freedom to say, you know what, I'm going back to what makes me great. And what we've seen is him having the ability to drive and get to the rim, playing with a level of enjoyment and intensity that we've seen from Russell Westbrook in the past, whether it's him doing his little baby thing or his little shimmies and celebrations. We've seen that a lot more in the last couple of games, whether it be against Denver, whether it be in the last one against the Pelicans, where they've got back-to-back wins. It's good to see him, and he just needs to keep it up consistently. Now, you don't need to be a starter to be the guy. That you can be a value player in anywhere on the court, in the rotation, as long as you understand your role and you double down and buy into that. And that's what we need to see from Russell Westbrook now. He's been given the opportunity to come off the bench, and he's thrived in those, probably because it's been 3 games now. I think 3 games. So even 3 games, you could say he's done well coming off the bench. We just need to see that same mentality dialed on in every game, competing, looking to get to the rim and score, looking to play make for the other guys, for his bench unit as well. And then when he's playing with the big guys, he's going to have that momentum through coming off the bench and having the time to warm up into the game, so that he's not going to have to get a lot of touches. If it's LeBron, AD, he can even play make at certain points of the game and close with them. But I've liked what I've seen from Russell Westbrook. There's been a complete switch of mentality when it comes to on-court activity from him. Long may it continue. As it goes for the Lakers, the last 2 wins, very positive against a good Denver side and a good Pelicans side who have been playing decently to start the season. And for them, it's about developing a defensive identity and rolling with that, which they kind of have to start this season. When you look at them, I think they've been the number 2 defense in the league, but they've been the worst offense. So if they can double down on that defensive structure, the offense will come. The confidence, because they've been shooting horrifically. That can't last. That shouldn't last. So as long as they double down on the defense, a lot of their games have been close, even the ones that they've lost. So they need to double down on that, and the offense will get better over time when they work out and when everybody buys into their roles and is comfortable. I don't think LeBron's been anywhere near his best to start the season. Even against the Pelicans in that win, he shot 9 for 23, 39% from the field, 0 for 7 from 3. So even if LeBron's able to maybe take a few less jumpers here and there, try and get to the rim a little more, that will help with his efficiency, and he will get better as the season goes by. I'm not buying into that wash stuff. He's proven me way too many times throughout his career that when he's doubted, he shows up when he's needed. Anthony Davis, I've liked what I've seen a little bit more this season in terms of his aggressiveness on both ends of the floor, defensively, being that anchor for the Lakers, but also offensively, wanting to score the ball, wanting to be involved, being physical, getting those rebounds, 16 rebounds last time out against the Pelicans, getting 4 blocks, a steal as well. He's been very aggressive on both ends of the floor. And even though those injuries are still lingering with the back and stuff like that, and you're not sure if he looks fully fit, he looks like he's once more devoted to the game of basketball, which is what you love to see.
Yeah, because Darvin Ham's kind of done the right thing in terms of the rotating of the squad. So like, you know, there were moments where LeBron had some moments just sitting on the bench during that game, and then allowed Russell to come in there, have his hands on the rock, and he was setting plays and, you know, setting up his teammates for them to get easy buckets. And like, that was really good to see, because obviously he's trying to get a handle of that squad, because there's a lot of egos in there, players feeling that they should be starting, but he's the coach and he's kind of taking control of the situation, which is good. Now it's about keeping the morale up between all of his team members, making sure that they're all a cohesive unit when they're on the court together, and then those on the bench also providing their supporting acts when they come onto the court. So it's really nice to see from the Lakers. We've got a few more topics and then we're going to wrap it up very shortly. Let me get into some more of these comments though, and then saying no, that the earlier comments were about Kyrie, that they had no plans to extend his current contract. So I mentioned before that they weren't willing to give him the 3 or 4 years that he was potentially looking for, and so now, you know, it's probably even worse situation now, like with what's gone on. I'll need to get a proper rotation option. Is it out? Wait, what? Who's out? I'm trying to figure out, Realist. Let me know who you're talking about.
I'll offer it, big man. Yeah, don't look at the center.
Fam, yeah,
We was talking about that.
That's what we're saying. We said we need one because he's
that's because Roland take forever to read the comments.
The comments, yeah, bruv, because I don't want to disrupt anybody speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me let people land in it. You know what I'm saying? And then saying off topic, but Cameroon's kits come out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Both of them, One All Sports and Le Coq des Sportifs. However, Coq des Sportifs was supposed to come out today as they won a case in the French court to undo the termination by Cameroon. This won't do anything, as FIFA asks the federation who will be kitting them out, so So the most that can happen is that they can get sued if they don't rep the coach at the World Cup. But all One Sports ones come out tomorrow. Fam, I don't know what you just said here, but I will go and research this because it might be some interesting topics for the World Cup preview.
And speaking gibberish,
Will be in like, I don't know, 10 days. I don't know. Whenever will be just before the World Cup starts. We'll talk about that though.
and then you don't know the read and write, boy. I'm talking about Cameroon terminate and FIFA Federation, and they say if they do it, they will not do it because said yeah, bro, you don't know to put a proper sentence together.
Yo, they said trust me, Chino. Matt Ryan moving like Ray Allen. If you know, you know. And then man like Westbrook, aka Bruno. Hey, leave him alone. You man are doing this, but that game he had against the Pelicans was actually really good, bro. He was cooking. That first half he was cooking. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, I haven't got my say on
one thing
Lakers.
I know there's nothing you can do to stop the agenda, see, man, fam. They'll just keep on running.
It's not Realist United, it's Realist Agenda, fam. Let's keep it moving. Hey, Chino, what was you gonna say on the Lakers, bro?
The Lakers. Yeah, man, Russ off the bench. It's working, but is Russ gonna want to come off the bench all season? You know, let's see. At the moment, it's working because that's the thing with Russ. If you let Russ just be the point guard, just let him play basketball. Like Russ is another one too, bro. All the other stuff, you know what I'm saying, it's just bothering him mentally. Just let him play basketball. Let him be. There's like you don't go from beating Oscar Robinson record that's been around for years with triple record and being MVP and all. You don't go from that to being this without something mentally affecting you. Like Russ is not a scrub. And physically the knees are not there either at all them surgeries because I know in the off season he be going to get his knees drained and scrape and all that stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? That, you know, that's catching up to him because what it is now, CM? What year it is for him? Like 12. What year it is for us?
12, 13, I think.
Yeah, so, around that.
So all that's catching up to him right now, but the guy is no scrub, man. He just needs to. Russ needs to be loved and let him just play point guard. Let him be him. Just let him be Russ. Let's just let him hoop. And yeah, he'll have good
season.
15 season. Yeah, that's catching up to him, man. That's catching up. But I like Russ. But I will trade Kyle Lowry for us right now.
See, you want to trade everybody though. This is the thing. Every time you be talking about another player, fam, you want to trade everybody.
Well, I just want to trade Kyle Lowry off my team because his contract stinks and I want to get rid of it. And to trade him, that means the Lakers have to take Duncan Robinson, and I want to get rid of both of those contracts because they absolutely reeks. So yeah, but yeah, man, the Lakers. I don't think they ain't anybody contender. They ain't any loomers. They just ain't lottery team. Bumbo clap, bum throw the ball out of bone. Let pussy.
Hey.
Yeah. What's the next topic, bro? Because let's run
the next topic real quick. Let's run this and let everyone get back to their evenings, fam. There's some games on right now, but in the NBA things are moving right now. James Harden, out for a month with a foot injury. This may affect. Or even more, it may affect the Philadelphia 76ers and put more of a strain on Embiid to put in some of those MVP type performances that we've been accustomed to seeing over the last few years, but a lot earlier on in the season now. What do you think? What do you think this does for the 76ers, bro?
Good for them because now they get to see the real star that Maxey is.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting take. I can't lie. It's an interesting take. What do you
And
think
and
about
they and they get to rest Fatty Boom Boom.
Wait. Who are you referring to here? Who are
Fatty
you
Boom Boom.
who are you referring to here, bruv?
He gets to rest and heal up and come back and do it
He's
twink
lost
twink
weight though.
twink
He's
twink
lost weight.
hezzy.
He's lost weight, fam.
Don't
He been
care.
he been training, bruv. What are you talking
Don't
about?
care. I'm gonna have to join what you call them, CM, the agency.
Agendis.
Yeah,
Agendis.
agendas for this one. Don't care. Nah, but nah. Serious note though.
Hmm.
James. I don't know, man. James and Arden. Something ain't clicking there. They need to figure it out. So
Hmm.
now Arden get now. I said James and Arden.
That's a
I
James,
am
bro.
tripping.
You said
James
James.
and Embiid. Something ain't clicking there, but now Embiid and Maxi get to show Philly like, listen, we are the future, like the present and the future. This is the direction we're going in. Maxi cold, man. Maxi is cold. No, you put him on the ball. I don't, and maybe James was helping him a lot off the ball because sometimes a lot of these players, because I've noticed, like Maxi, I've noticed with a player like Arrow, the Arrow shoots better with the ball out of his hand, like instead of coming off the screen, off the dribble, and shooting it like pull up threes, and like maybe Maxi is better at that, but maybe when James handled the ball he shoots a higher clip because that one game where he was just draining threes, it was a lot of catch and shoots. But we'll see though what Philly got. All I know is PJ Tucker knees are cooked, bro. We duped them, bro. They swear it was him, bro. It's the system. Hey, you know why the Heat wasn't fussed, bro? When we saw JT cook them in the conference final, we was like, nah, it's time to wrap it up, bro. And that man gave him 3 years. Hell no.
Crazy. It's crazy. CM,
Yeah.
what do you think of this situation? Is it gonna really affect them even more, or is Embiid gonna have to step up with Maxi and some of the other teammates as well?
Yeah, when I first saw this, I instantly tweeted out this will even be a blessing or a curse for the 76ers. I like what Chino said. Maybe a guy like Tyrese Maxey can step up and really show his true star quality that he has in moments in his 76ers career. Not consistently, but he's starting to become a lot more consistent in that time. Joel Embiid is starting to put it together. But now as a team, as a collective, there needs to be more consistency in getting them wins because I think they're 5-4 now in the season, and that cannot continue if they want to get a good seeding later in the season for the playoffs and stuff like that. I think looking at Tobias Harris, I know a lot of the guys he's an easy target, but for me he has to be better in the offense, and I feel like maybe there's another opportunity here to pick it up and be a lot more consistent in terms of his scoring. But for me, I don't know where I stand with the Philadelphia 76ers right now because I expected a better start to this season. Definitely expected a better start to this season with some of the games that they had. But like what Chino said, they just haven't been able to put things together as of yet. They've had some breakout performances here and there from the guys like Tyrese Maxey. James Harden really had a strong start to this season. But when Embiid struggled at the start and he's starting to put it together, but it all needs to come together now. As well, I've been watching a lot of things, and a problem for them has been production off the bench and their depth and their ability with those guys. What are you going to get from maybe Montrezl Harrell, who here and there has got some DMPs, but can you get something out of him because he can be valuable when he is playing? But what can you get from DeAnthony Melton, Matisse Thybulle, Shake Milton? Can you get more out of him? Because there was a lot of promise early in his Philly career, but it kind of fizzled out to points where certain games he's not playing. Furkan Korkmaz, he can catch fire at times. What can you get out of him? So it's important now that Philly are getting the best out of their collective. they need to all dig in. And we saw this, I believe it was last season when they didn't have Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
They all brought in as a collective, played hard on both ends of the floor, and they tried their hardest to make sure they were winning games and playing the best they possibly could. So they need to do the same again with James Harden being out.
Yeah, because I mean, this is where like I'm looking at Matisse Thybulle, for example, great defender, right? But like he hasn't really stepped up much this season. I don't know what's gone on in terms of why he's not getting more minutes for the 76ers this season. I don't know if it's because of the PJ Tucker situation. They've come in with experience and he's doing what he needs to do. I don't know why it's kind of shifting him outside of the rotation, but
he ain't doing a goddamn thing. They got the
I mean,
worst defense in the NBA.
Yeah, trust me. I mean, look, they're losing right now. They're losing right now to the Knicks as well. They've got like a minute 5 in the game left. 4 points in it, but yeah, it's kind of crazy right now. Man, the realist said can't stop or can't stop, won't stop, or will I? Man, keep running the agendas, fam. It's realist agenda over there, bro. The kit sponsor dispute and our kit gets released tomorrow. It's simple. I can tell you what is affecting Russ. Pat Bev has actually got a bit more of a rotational role as well. He's not really starting games really for them either. I don't think so. It's a pretty interesting situation with Pat Bev, to be fair. RIP the 76ers. Maxi will lead us to glory with them layups. But no, this is time for Harris to set up. He is top scoring though for the 76ers. I think he's got 21 tonight, nine rebounds, 4 assists. So he's got to do something.
Tobias Harris.
Yeah, that's what he's got tonight.
More of that.
If Tobias Harris your top scorer, you're losing the game. Look, check the box score. Every night Tobias Harris is their top scorer, they're losing the game.
That's funny. He said they're selling right now. They sold in 13 minutes. Thybulle got 4 points now.
I didn't want to cut CM off, but CM say Montreal Harris can help. Brother, only thing he's helping on is giving the other team free throws, bro. Yes. He's foul on every play. He stinks on defense.
That's the thing. How has there been such a massive drop-off from him in his Clipper days to then the drop-off in when he was in a Laker uniform, now in Philly? I mean, what has happened to him?
Yeah, he was at the Hornets as well. He went to, I think he was at
the
Wizards too. So yeah, he's really moved about. Like, I can't lie, over the last couple of years, bro. So there's been a massive drop off. I think he's just because he's no longer focused on basketball like that. I mean, yeah, obviously he's a professional.
Man, moving them pounds.
Yeah, I see. So I'm saying he was in Charlotte, them saying he's moving them pounds. Then, like, obviously, I think he's got a clothing brand and all of this type of stuff. So he's not really focused on basketball anymore. I think he's just trying to sort out himself for the end of his career, because this is moving a bit mad right now. But, all right, last couple of topics before we wrap this show up. Hey, it's nearly 2 hours, bro. But we had a lot to talk about. It's been a very drama-filled time in the NBA this week. The Warriors now 3-6 for the season. They lost to the Magic last night, 130-129. Jalen Suggs with, I think, 26 points, 9 assists last night. I saw the play that he even got with a steal on Steph Curry in the dying moments of the game. What do you think is happening over there at the Warriors? We spoke about that situation with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. Is it really digging into the team? Or are they, having a bit of a blip right now? Because, defending champions, everybody's just trying to come at you now, trying to play. Because I watched the game against the Hornets on Saturday last week, and PJ Washington was doing some business on them, man. I can't lie to you, bro. So what are you guys thinking is going on over there at the Warriors, man, in the Bay? The floor is open. The floor is open.
I was in the Chino, but it's calm. I think for them, it's I don't know. It's gone on for a while now, and I saw a tweet by a Warriors, like a fan account, and it's like, what is your meter? Are you calm, not worried? Or are you extremely worried? And it went lower and lower. There were a lot of people in the comments that were very worried, and they didn't like what they were seeing, because just like last night against Orlando, I believe they had a few crucial plays where they turned over the ball and they just weren't able to get it done in those important moments of the game. And I feel like there have been a reoccurring pattern in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. I would still give the Warriors the benefit of the doubt just because they're the defending champs. And like you said, teams will be wanting to go up against them. But in the end of the day, they've got to clean up their act sooner rather than later, or it could become a sticky season for them, considering how competitive it is out west and in the league as a whole. Steph Curry, he's been playing superb out of his skin this season. Obviously, he did have some down, low lights in the clutch at that Orlando game, but in terms of his all round performances, he's playing decent, playing very well. Klay Thompson, you're getting inconsistencies from him. I am starting to become even more doubtful in his ability. I don't know. Now, I don't want to say that he's not that guy anymore, but I feel like whether it's his emotions that are getting the best of him because he doesn't feel like the player he was physically maybe a few years ago prior to the injury, that may be getting to him. And even though he did have a good game against Orlando the other night, we have seen those inconsistencies in terms of his shooting efficiencies and stuff like that. And you can always see on the court when a player's frustrated. And I think you see that a lot with Klay, whether he's on the court, whether he's on the bench. Andrew Wiggins, I think for them, it's about, once again, finding a consistency and buying into that defensive, because as a team, they've always been a great defensive team as a whole. I feel like at the moment, whether you're seeing drop-offs with the likes of Draymond Green and stuff like that, they're having a bit of blips on that end of the floor and on the bench. Like last night, they did get 11 points from Jordan Poole, 7 from JaMychal Green, but there's inconsistencies here and there. I would like to see more from the likes of Jonathan Kuminga, because his playing time has been very inconsistent with the Warriors this year, considering how he was kind of built up last year and given opportunities. I'm kind of shocked that he hasn't really given a high-end role this year. James Wiseman's come in and he's had some all right performances here and there. I still feel like there's a lot to improve and he may be a little off the pace, but I'm sure that will come with time. It'll be interesting to see what they plan to do with James Wiseman going forward, actually, because they've got a guy in Kevon Looney who's still a fantastic contributor in the center position for the Warriors, and he understands the role. Maybe they want to mold James Wiseman into that ilk of player so he can contribute down the line and become a starter, maybe even more productive starter than Kevon Looney. But for me, I'm not quite there where I'm like, okay, panic stations for Golden State, but they need to clean up their act sooner rather than later, because they don't want to be dropping these games. And then once you get into 20, 25, 30 games into the season and you're touching 500 or you're even below that or just above, it's going to be hard to make your way back up there with all of the competition that's in and around you.
Yeah, man, that's pretty true, man. Chino, what do you think of this currently struggling Warrior side, man? Is it something to worry about?
Hold on, bro. They're not the only ones struggling, bro. Hold on, bro.
Yeah,
This is
you man
getting
are struggling.
disgusting.
You man are struggling.
Yeah, I don't
10
know.
seconds
Clay,
to go. 10 seconds to go, fam.
Draymond contract talk. Clay contract. Clay stinks. Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Like you don't want to say he's not that guy. No, he's not that guy. He stinks. Like Curry carried him in that finals versus the Boston Celtics. Curry, yeah. Listen, it's okay. Grandpa got a few injury. The Warriors are gonna move on from him. I think the only one survived this rebuild is gonna be Curry.
Mm.
Draymond probably out the door. Clay out the door. Either you know what I'm saying, but yeah, it's a young team. This not it is a young team because they're trying to give, like CM was saying, Wiseman more minutes. They're gonna, Moody getting more minutes. The like, you know what I'm saying? They haven't figured it out yet, but all I can say is this is not Steve Nash. This is Steve Kerr. So when he figure it out, the league is gonna be in trouble.
Mm.
So he's still figuring it out. So when he fully figure it out, it will be they will be all right.
I mean, I even saw Draymond he got fouled out against the Hornets as well on Saturday. Like it was actually a funny situation because he was trying to get an appeal. And Steve Kerr was looking at him like, yo, nah, you fouled out, bro. Don't even try it right now. But it is a very difficult situation. But obviously I think it's a bit too early for us to say that, the wheels are about to fall off there for the Warriors. Let's see if they can get back into rhythm. I had seen something very interesting from Steve Kerr where he said that Klay Thompson won't be playing a lot of back-to-backs this season. I don't think he'll play any. I think they want to try and preserve him as much as possible after having such a long injury layoff. Because we know his obvious qualities, but obviously he's not as young as he was, and that injury's taking a toll on him. And yeah, it looks like they're at the beginning of their rebuild. We thought that it was happening maybe a couple of seasons ago, but they kind of retained their veterans, and looks like now it's the time, because some of the younger players are now beginning to emerge, and so they need to make space and some room. And so it looks like Draymond and Klay will probably have to move aside for some of their younger players to come in there. Last topic for tonight, we got an absolute superstar that we need to talk about in Luka Doncic. 7 consecutive 30-point games at the start of the season. It's putting him up there with some greats alongside the likes of Wilt Chamberlain. And he's already got, I believe, at this moment in time, I think is it 14 points already in 12 minutes against the Raptors right now. So he looks like he's on his way to his 8th consecutive 30-point game for the Mavs. What do you, man, think about Luka Doncic and his start to the season?
Whenever you watch him, he's a phenomenal player. He's a fun player to watch as well, which is something that not every guy can get. I mean, he's averaging just over 36 points per game this season. That shows how much of a tear he's been on the offensive end. Still has enough to average 9 assists per, which is the most so far. If it continues that way, it's going to be the most in his career. He's averaged just around 8 assists in his career so far in the league. But the scoring is out of this world. The ability to create for his teammates, the efficiency. When you think about it, like the efficiency that he's shooting in with is very impressive. I remember I was watching a video earlier, and I'm even looking at it now. So he's shooting 51% from the field as a whole. He's shooting 23% from downtown, and he's shooting just over 8 3-pointers per game and only hitting 2. So the efficiency that he's scoring with, when you put in with the 3-pointers being a factor, him shooting the worst of his career, and he's never been a phenomenal. I mean, 33% in his career, and he's shooting like horrifically right now, but that will improve. So the scoring that he's putting together with the efficiency is off the charts. As long as the 3-point shot comes around, he might even get even better, which is crazy to think when we're speaking about the streak of the 30-point games and stuff like that. But with Dallas, once again, it's an opportunity for them to have another good season. They're back-to-back W's right now. They're playing the Raptors, so they have a chance to go 3 wins in a row. I think for them, they could have a good season. Just like we discussed, I like the roster. Very much so, really like the roster that they've been able to do. Of course, they can add to it. But when you have a guy like Luka Doncic, he can really lead that offense by himself. As long as you can get other guys that can contribute on the defensive end and take the load off of him there, then that can help. And then you have the shooters around him. Christian Wood really developing into that role. Like what we said before, can he be that guy? He's been very good this season in regards to his scoring and stuff like that. Just buying in on the defensive end now. Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith. We don't need to say their names again, but they've just got so much hard-hitting contributors on their team that can help them have a good season. It's just about how far they can go in the playoffs. But yeah, you run out of words of what you can describe Luka Doncic with. Every single season he comes and you think he can't get much better than this, and he does. To the point where he's probably going to be a top 5 MVP candidate when it's all said and done at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, CM, I agree with everything you say. Luka for MVP. We're down 2, baby. Yeah, man, Luca's cold, bro. Like, yo, yo, the only thing I can pray for is Dragic just informing him on culture, bro. When we get him down the line in the future, Luca is nasty. Mad fundamental. Yo, Luca do the twink twink between the leg, and it's so slow though, but you can't guard it, bro. When he do, you know that the between the leg dribble, twink twink twink, three step back three, and you can't guard it. His vision though, like not even just his scoring, his vision. The way he tell teammate where his IQ is up there, man. He's smart. I wouldn't put it as close as like Braun, but he's behind LeBron when it comes to this vision, seeing the game, IQ. Like, bro, the guy been in the NBA 4 seasons. This is his 5th season. We lost. How did we lose? It's 7 seconds. Oh my God! How did we lose? How did we lose? Let me see this play. No, Luca. No, yeah, no. Go ahead, see him. Let me see this play. I don't know. Do what you gotta do, Roland. I need to see what. Because how can we lose when we need a 2 to tie the game? Did we go for? I bet you Tyler Arrow, stupid, go for a win with a 3. I bet you he did. You're not that guy. Look, he did. Yes, he did. Look, you're not that guy.
You know what's just funny, yeah, because Tyler Hero hit a winner in the midweek, yeah, and then you was talking smack in that group chat, bro. Now he tried it again. Now he's not. Why did he do it? He's not that guy. Don't do this, please. Don't do this. Hey.
I'm looking at the play-by-play right now, and I'm seeing with 1.3, fam. A pull-up 3 from Tyler Hero, fam. It's not looking good, baby.
This is funny as hell. Hey, Luca is on fire right now. That's all I'm gonna say. He's on fire right now. He's on his way to his 8th consecutive game, 30 points plus, right, against the Raptors. I don't know if it's gonna be enough to help them win. The Raps have been on fire themselves over the last few games, but we'll see how that plays out. People, it's been 2 hours. It's been a great show, the Big Free Show with my guys here, CM and Chino in the building. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well if you're new. Hit the link at the top of the chat to follow CM on the Twitch. Man like Chino, follow the socials as well. So make sure you follow the socials and follow up the man them too. We'll be back again next week. Obviously going to be a lot more topics to discuss. Enjoy your weekend. I don't know what's coming next on the channel, but look forward for whatever's coming next.
I'm done, man. I'm irritated, bro.
Chino's not happy right now. Actually, sorry. Tomorrow, yes, Celtics, Knicks watch along. We'll be watching that as well. So that could be a good game.
Celtics, Knicks. Yeah, I could come through. I'll stop by.
Yeah, come through.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself, people. Thank you for coming by. Shout out to CM. Go follow him on all social. CM22ENT. Come through. We be in the chat on Twitch. It be a vibe, man. Y'all gotta come through. We be chilling. We be popping champagnes, voiceover, all type. You know what I'm saying? Just come through, man. Y'all know
Miami. We're in Miami in the club, bro. What's going on here, man?
Yo, listen, we will not speak about Miami. And people, even though this guy is a bit of a pagan, and he got the judge. But subscribe, like the thing, drop a comment after we're done. Shout out to Pros Only, man. He'll be here.
Come on.
I'm gonna ban his channel from doing Man United games, though, people. I'm gonna copyright them. Every time people, how can we need 2 goals to win?
It's Ronaldo.
And I know he stinks.
yeah,
but yeah, man. Follow the man them Pros Only Sports on all platforms. CM22ENT. And my thing coming soon, man, people. When my thing is ready,
get your thing done, fam. We need to get this sorted out, bro. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, Chino with the outro in it. So hey, big up to everybody. Thank you to everybody that's been in the chat from the beginning. We're out. Peace.
Shout out Super Nick.